versus there's a lot of stun on Leona, and a little bit of hold on Swain, a small stun on Jax, but not any great team-wide CC, not especially compared to Alistar, who cannot be reduced with Mercury Treads or Tenacity whatsoever. So it's going to be a very hard team fight for Team Unrated, but they do have very strong laners, especially if they can get one up. They tend to snowball out of control. Swain and Jax, very much those kind of champions, and same thing with Corki. He is devastating once he gets his phage.
Yeah, but I don't know, Ezreal. Last night we were doing the Premier League, and we had one match where we had two matches where Ezreal was on the winning team, and it was one on one side, one on the other. And we get to game 3, and who is it? Billings asks me, he's like, "Who do you think's gonna win?" I'm like, "Whichever team has Ezreal."
So is that where your bet is?
Slightly. I mean, I haven't seen Brand in a while. But I just, the combo of a Brand ult and a Rumble ult, I feel, will do terrible things to Mundo and Swain. Just like, all of those dots reducing, the thing that makes Mundo strong, his insane health regen. There's so much grievous wounds and extra dot damage going down. And, Swain, he's got really good dots on himself, by himself, but there's so much scary AoE damage coming out of,
Fauna?
Yeah. Brain stopped.
That's alright. I'm here for when your tongue does get tied. And the thing, well, everyone generally runs this most of the time. 3 ignites. Now, Mondo and Swain, they're the 2 champions in League that do not like Ignite. The only other one probably being Volibear. Ignite is basically a summoner spell counter to that champion. And it all comes down to whether you as a player, if you're playing, say, Swain or Mundo or Volibear, are able to keep track of those Ignite timers and save yourself, because no one else will be able to do it for you.
I got screen bugged. Alright, I got corner bugged, so it'll be just a little bit of time until we're ready to go. But, no, yeah, and Brand just has that sort of built-in personal Ignite on his passive, which is why I think, his damage will be the one thing that, is a trouble for Swain and Mundo.
Yep, especially considering that Swain doesn't get a free heal. He can heal up once he hits 6, but he needs a large amount of minions around him to heal that. And even then, he doesn't heal as much off minions as he does off champions. So Swain, very, very tricksy in his sustain, and it is extremely expensive. And we are off into the game, ladies and gentlemen. So we will see how those predictions do run out. More than likely completely wrong on my side. But we will see how this goes out. Everyone's starting off with basic starting items, though Alistar choosing to go with boots and 2 wards. No potions, no fairy charm. So obviously planning to get a bit of the bull and the horns in there quick and early, while keeping that early vision to protect their own jungle. But they did put up that really offensive ward. That's it's generally not something you'd see happen without an invade.
I mean, they might be looking to go in there later. They have a Lee Sin, so they might be waiting to try and catch Mundo at his red buff.
But Mundo's not really a jungler that I don't think anyone in the world ever goes, hey, we can catch him out and kill him, because Mundo doesn't do that. Mundo's generally the one who finds you in jungle and punishes you.
But that's one of the greatest ways to beat a Mundo. Out-aggress him. Just find him at the right moment and kill him. And, Mundo's really effective at getting at you when you're low. And he's really just, a meat shield and a chaser. And if they, shut him down and he can't meat shield, then all he can do is chase you. And then you're like, oh, well, we'll turn into a ton of damage.
Well, hopefully that is the way it turns out, because everyone loves to see Mundo cut down to size. But one thing about some of the spells that I have to say, there's no ghost. I'm a bit disappointed.
No ghosts. I'm actually realizing how much I like the Muay Thai Lee Sin skin. Just like watching it, I'm just like, wow, that's an awesomely made skin.
So many people are torn between Lee Sin's skins. I'm not a fan of any of his skins, but generally I've found that crowds are split into people who love Muay Thai, love... Oh, what's the one with the black shorts? I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, traditional?
Traditional. And those that love, Bruce Lee skin.
Yeah, well, I mean, the one is the Bruce Lee skin, then you've got the Muay Thai skin, so you're off in, like, your Tony Jaa world, and then you've got, like, the traditional, which is, like, you know, just looks like a Kung Fu master. So, you know, I see where the split happens.
I don't find many people who either aren't interested or think they're all good. There's always schools of people that are just...
Oh my god, this double gank. Both junglers making plays for these ganks up in top lane. Both have double buff.
Unseen.
Out comes the Counter-Strike onto Livingston. Rumble taking a lot of damage. Instantly gets exhausted, but they're doing way too much damage to Mundo. Mundo is going to fall first blood to JD Wu. Lee Sin now takes away the double buff. Bet they wish that had gotten on Rumble, though.
And, wow, just Mundo melting, despite being, like you said, the meat shield right there. But Livingston taking quite a fair bit of damage in that exchange. Not sure if he'll be able to exchange with Jax on equal footing for now.
Yeah,
but that remains to be said. He's still got the assist up, so that's a little bit of experience, and when he goes back, more gold.
I think Rumble needs some new skins.
I think Rumble only has his release skins.
Yeah, no, he needs Transformer Rumble. Make it right.
I've been saying that for many, many months, and I would love to see it.
Well,
Unfortunately,
where's the Decepticon? Where's the Decepticon?
Unfortunately, some of the more, I guess, inventive ideas for champion skins do not get made. Whether that's due to popularity of the champions or just Riot, you know, they go in different directions, is another reason entirely. Oh, there we see the Flash Pulverize from Alistar. Headbutts back into Lee Sin, but the Flash Valkyrie out. But Leona flashes herself out. She does get exhausted. She's going to go down, though. Not gaining enough distance with that flash. And very well played there. JD Wu just everywhere he needs to be.
I mean, he got a kill. So, on Lee Sin, you get an advantage and you drive it home. You make use of the fact that you're one of the most mobile junglers in the game, one of the most mobile champions in the game. You make use of the fact that you can just show up and absolutely wreck and execute someone and just do so much damage to disrupt a fight. And it looks like up in top lane, Rumble possibly about to get ganked. Mundo going for round 2 versus Rumble. Lee Sin is making his way up there, so if Wukong...
I think Mundo thought better of that and buggered off.
Yeah, and I also thought there was a Wukong in the game, so clearly something is wrong here.
It's definitely not Wukong.
Is that a skin?
That's all I have to say there.
It's definitely not Wukong.
It should be.
I don't even know what that would look like. So it looks like we do see making use of some early aggression. JD walks in, smites away Mundo's Big Wraith, so bullying Mundo in his own jungle because of the advantage that he got off of that first blood.
And like you said, that's what he needs to do to... He needs to get that little bit ahead and stay ahead and just force it down. Oh, down bottom we see the initiate attempted by Leona, but it didn't work out. Ezreal's just a little too slippery, but he has no mana and no health. So he's going to have to start chugging pots and be more conservative with his spells if he wants to stick around for last hits.
Looks like he doesn't feel like sticking around.
He doesn't. Don't Scarpa. V-Man 7 wandering off into the enemy's jungle for... It looks like wolves. That's generally not something you see too often.
Wow, and Lee Sin's just chilling up in this bush. They have him completely warded. I feel like he's wasting a bit of time here.
He is, but he doesn't understand that he cannot be seen. So that's unfortunately the big problem when you don't have vision of enemy wards. Is you could be sitting there and they can bait you in. They can.
Leona
just
is
make
going
you
for a
waste time.
gank in mid. Hyper aggressive Leona coming in. They do miss the Swain Cage and the Zenith Blade, so that gank got stopped fast. And now Brand going very aggressive on Leona is going to pop out his ultimate. The double ignite off of the abilities and his ignite is going to pick him up a kill. So Leona paid for her her arrogance. And Lee Sin still chilling in the bush. Finally decides to go onto Jax. Forces out the counter strike. Mundo is there as well, so he has kind of been wasting time, but I think he realized that he's basically just been wasting his time.
Well, JD Wu did waste a lot of time, but he's still ahead of the enemy jungler. He is still ahead both levels and gold wise, so I don't see a problem there.
Oh, Rumble
and
going
the
aggressive.
equalizer going down onto Jax, forcing him to flash out. He's going to get away from this, but oh my, that Jax is really scared, and you do not see that too often in lane.
Yeah, I mean, it's, Rumble's a non-resource champion. He can throw out his ultimate pretty much whenever he wants, and we do see a blue buff steal coming out for Fortnite. JD Wu just taking away everything.
Yep, and he's just playing hyper aggressive at the moment, just
Leona.
denying one of the jungler.
I thought she was about
Doesn't
to get
need
caught.
those buffs, but they're good. Oh, looks like we're going to see something down bottom, maybe.
Nah, if she hadn't gone up to ward there, they probably would have tried to make a play.
Well, she did look like she was going to go in when she did have her, I believe it is Eclipse ready.
Yes,
But
that is her shield.
she wimped out of it. JD, we're going to get his second red buff of the game, so we're going to see him kick back into heavy ganking gear now that he has that guaranteed slow. But really, the lane's just, after that first kill, everyone is scared.
I mean, I would be.
Oh, I don't blame them, but it's interesting. We're not just seeing one side be majorly aggressive, we're just seeing everyone very tentatively poking and prodding the enemies. As I say that, Alistar does go in with the headbutt pulverize, but not much is made of it. A little damage is exchanged and everyone pulls back.
And Lee Sin looking for something in mid. Can't get on anything because they finally, starting to catch him in their ward coverage. And now Mundo coming in from the side. If he reveals himself too early, Lee Sin is going to find him. No, he's going to see if he can see Brandon. He will see him through that ward. And Rumble's actually up top dueling with this Jax, getting him very low. Out comes his ultimate. Flashing forward with that Flame Splitter, lays down the Ignite, needs a little bit more damage. He's taking a lot of damage from the tower. He is going to get it with the Ignite, but now going to fall to a Mundo Cleaver and the Burning Agony. And Lee Sin could try and find someone. Nope, Mundo's going to stay up and farm the top.
Yep, and I guess as far as a gold perspective goes, unrated? Unrestricted? I can't remember. UNR definitely had the advantage there because they got the assist gold as well, but the problem is that's gone onto the jungler. The kill gold has gone onto the jungler, so really you're just setting...
Lee Sin flashes over the wall, lands his Q, needed to get that ultimate off, but instant flash away from Swain. Really
and
aggressive.
Down bottom we do see a team fight going out there. Down goes Corki. Ezreal so low, flash, and finally does die to the last tick of Ignite, so Leona and Alistar are left. No kill is going to be done there. Oh wow, death just everywhere at the moment. Flick back to mid, Swain's dead, and so is Brand.
Yeah, they decided they'd share each other's pain and die together. And looks like Mundo wants another gank. There are no wards for Rumble, who did bring down Jax. Probably could have gotten away if Mundo hadn't be there. And now Mundo is up here, has popped out his ultimate, is regenning up, goes in Jax. The cleaver misses. They don't have the ability to get the counter strike down, so that is going to be a disengage.
And it looks like Lee Sin's coming down bottom for a tower dive, going to jump onto Leona, but Corki is just back. But is he going to risk it? That is the big question. He hits the Q, but it hits Corki. Oh.
There goes the execute.
You could tell. Yep, he was trying to get that on Leona too.
Up in top lane, Rumble throws out his ultimate, lays down the Flame Splitter, is exhausted, so his damage is basically been reduced to nothing. He's trying to juke away, does have his scrap shield up, but he's gonna fall to a Mundo Cleaver, and that is going to be a nice little bit of an advantage. But once again, the kill on the jungler, not the top lane.
But see, while it's not immediately giving Jax all that, loss back, because he's very far behind in farm, Mundo's babysitting that lane. Every time he goes there and gets a kill, he's giving Jax a little bit, and he's putting himself more ahead, because Lee Sin, while he's been ganking a lot and he has a couple of kills, Mundo's now got more kills than him, just, no assists, but he has almost twice as much CS. They just secured top tower. Meanwhile, Fortnite are going for the dragon down bottom.
Yep, Leona and Corki are there. Swain now coming from the side. They're not doing this fast enough. Swain can easily come in and help contest this thing. The only ultimate going out parole has been locked up. Swain is scaring Lee Sin. Lee Sin trying to finish off the dragon. Leona is going to pick up that kill with her shield burst. And now Swain is going to actually finish the dragon. Leona actually picked up parole, not dragon. And Brand comes in from the side, picks up the dragon, does a ton of damage to Swain. Swain's going to fall. That ultimate from Brand coming out. Leona landing her Zenith Blade, but now Rumble is here as well. Way too much damage. She will get stunned. Double kill for Brand, and he picked up the dragon.
Very well played there by Brand, but unfortunately, Lee Sin just overstayed his welcome, got taken down by Swain, and it's just really just everyone streaming in kind of one by one into that fight. They did get the dragon, so it kind of equals out that tower gold a little bit. But look at how many people died for that. That was just, I guess, a bit chaotic.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really planned that fight out very well. And now Brand, he has no flash and no summoners to get away from this Mundo. Doesn't have that much mana. I think he's going to fall. Cleavers and basic attacks being landed. He does land a nice stun. Wants to try and get away, but he basically just sort of stands there and accepts his fate.
Well, when you've got a Mundo on you, you have no flash, you're a squishy caster like Brand. There's not much you can do, really. There's no teammates nearby to walk him to. You've got no chance of making it to tower. Sometimes it's just, give up, that way I'll respawn sooner. And it's really interesting how well Swain is doing, despite him rushing that Catalyst as his first item. Swain usually, he's a mana-hungry hero, but when he does that, rushes a mana item, usually he just lacks so much damage.
He's got Alistair, he's popped out his ultimate, they're trying to land on the parole, they have the Ignite down, the Zenith Blade will land, the Shield Bash comes out, slowing him down, Platoon picks up the kill, Corky getting that one, now Alistair is dueling against 2, now 3, Swain comes in, picks up the kill. Scumbag Swain! Scumbag Swain!
You gotta give it to him, he's the cripple, you have to be nice to the guy with the walking stick.
I don't know. When he turns into a giant demonic bird, he doesn't really need that walking stick anymore. Where does that thing go? Does it like disappear? Does he like roll it up in his pocket or something? I don't know.
I don't know. That's a disturbing and interesting question.
Where does Swain's staff go? Is it magically disappearing and reappearing? Is it a telescopic one like Daredevil? Daredevil Swain, new skin, but looks like V-Man is going to get caught out. In comes Jax for the counter-strike. Mundo is there. Swain misses the snare, but it doesn't really matter because he has so much damage. But Brand trying to finish off Mundo. Needed a little bit more. Mundo going to walk away through all of those dots and healing reduction, and they will pick up the 3-for-1 kill, or 3-man kill onto Brand. And now Lee Sin left to defend the tower against the Jax and a Swain who's doing a lot of damage.
He is now, especially now that he's just racking up kills. He has the blue buff, so he can have his ultimate on for longer. And really, Fornot had a major early advantage, and it's just kind of spiraled out of control due to these constant Mundo ganks. And getting that tower down early, which has allowed Jax to basically go, haha, I can be at every lane at once.
Well, Jax running into Rumble in the jungle. He misses the taser, so not going to do that much damage. Is throwing out the Flame Spitter, has silenced himself, has ultimate flash and ignite, so I think if he stays, he's going to try and kill him. But in comes the triple gank, and the pings are coming out. They know that Swain is on his way, as well as Mundo. There is no tower, so if they're fast enough, no, it looks like they're going to back off. And let's take a look down in bot lane to see the AD carries farming.
That's exactly what they're doing. With someone like Leona and Alistar, it really is just...
Oh, but it looks like Parole is going to get engaged on a knock-up and knockback by Alistar, so both supports going hard in on the enemy supports. The carry's taking very little damage there. It's really just who can beat on the other team's support, and it looks like Ezreal is slightly winning this. Alistar is going to look up for the knock-up. The Ignite is out. Leona flashes herself out of the way, and now Corky left to try and duel. Ezreal has very little mana, so Corky, I think he thinks he can finish this job. But I wouldn't, because that's an Alistar who still got knock-up.
Yep, he didn't feel confident doing that. And that's exactly what happens when you have two offensive supports like that. They kind of cancel each other out, because as soon as you initiate on to the enemy carry, they do the same.
Swain going aggressive onto this Brand. Needs a little bit more damage. JD Wu coming in from the side. There is no one there except for Mundo. He's speeding in from the back line so fast. He's trying to get on top of Brand, is going to get stunned, takes a little bit more damage, and now both teams backing off. No, actually looks like Livingston is coming in from behind. They're going to try and push up the tower a little.
And that's what they need to do. They need to take a tower and start winning, not winning, but getting some map control back, because at the moment there's just so much pressure from UNR, and Fornot are just struggling to hold their own ground, it's really unfortunate too, because JD Wu has been there with the ganks really strong, but while he's not in lane, it seems his teammates just can't maintain that control. It is a bit of an all-score, no-draw down bottom, but when early on we saw Alistar and Ezreal just absolutely creaming in every engagement, now it's equaled out quite a fair bit.
Yeah, I mean, Leona, her Eclipse. I mean, I've spoken of my secret solo top Leona build, but that Eclipse is a really strong ability. I think she has it maxed by now. Yeah, it gives her 70 armor and magic resist as she goes in onto parole. She's taking so much less damage than you would have expected. I mean, Alistar is also very tanky, but that's 2 chain vests and 2 Negatron cloaks for 4 or 5 seconds. That's really, really good. And when she engages, you know, Ezreal isn't doing as much damage to her as he needs to be.
Yep, makes 100% sense there. And what I really like is just the fact that Alistar's doing everything he can. As soon as Leona gets in, he pulverizes, then headbutts Corki away. Just as he does that, Flash pulverizes in on Corki and Leona. The rest of his team are there, but it looks like Corki's going to get away. Leona is not. She ran through the equalizer, and down she goes. But here is the opportunity for them to start picking up Dragon. It is now 4 versus 5. Everyone's bottom, but Alistar's burned his ult, and he's already weak.
Yeah, they
so
could
will
do
not be able to
something
do
good
this.
with this. Swain's going to need a really nice snare. And actually, the flash ultimate from Brand over the wall brings down Corki. Now they need to back it up. Swain is the only real damage source on their team. You know, Jax will do some solid damage, but in comparison to what is left, this is going to be a very, very aggressive fight if they try and contest this.
And 3 versus 5, I really wouldn't, but it looks like they are going to do it. They do feel confident at least delaying the dragon. They do go, and the exhaust is down on Brand. He's taking a ton of damage, but down goes Mondo first. There's just way too many people throwing out damage at the moment. Ezreal does go down to Swain, but Swain is completely out of mana now. JD Wu is so low, and flashes out from Jewel Bagel. And
oh man,
wow,
they almost
so low
won
except
that.
Alistar practically at the same health he started that fight with. He was universally
Leona's
ignored.
on the hunt. Leona's on the hunt. She's going to land the Zenith Blade on the Livingston, stuns him up. The shield proc comes out. She doesn't have ultimate, though. That might have been enough damage. Oh, Leona, you got to build that
so very
phage.
close.
You got to build your phage, Leona. What are you doing?
And as Fornot back out, it looks like we're going to see UNR secure the second dragon.
Oh, the Rumble ultimate comes out. The last tick. No, it's not going to kill him. Jax walks out of there with 10 health.
Flash smite. Well played there by JD Wu. And then safeguards over the wall.
Oh man, I thought they'd turn that around. They sort of won the fight and they were about to take dragon. That was just, oh man, sneaky plays. Keeping the gold even.
Yep, that was that was fantastic play there by JD Wu. He is just so on the ball here. He is really keeping his team in it. And we are slowly starting to see the scores even out some now that Fornot back ahead in gold, thanks to that dragon especially.
You know, this game, I mean, only one tower has gone down. We're at about 20 minutes. 11 kills to 12 kills. Things are so even. And I don't know. JD Wu's going to have to, like, keep making the plays.
Yep, he looks like he's going for the enemy blue buff, but he kicked it and then did nothing, so probably waiting for Mondo to go in, I think. I'm not sure. Seems to be some kind of cunning plan that we cannot penetrate at the moment.
I don't know. Looks like JD Wu is starting to make his way around. Swain is there. Swain finds them in a choke point. Doesn't decide to go on them. Now pops out his ultimate. Lays down a little bit of damage. Leona misses the Zenith Blade. Ezreal has now come out. And people are starting to convert and pinch on. And they've gone on to Brand. They've found him doing a lot of damage. Out comes the Brand ultimate. Plus the Alistar knockup. They will kill Brand. Mundo still living through that. Now it is Leona and Swain who are very, very low. Jax needs to protect the rest of his team. He's going very aggressive because in comes the Rumble ultimate. Instantly taking Swain out of the picture. Now Jax left on his own is going to get knocked around. Rumble picks up the double kill, and now they can take a blue buff with no problem.
Yep, and even though Mondo is not a blue reliant jungler, that is what it's all about. It's denying that blue to Swain, because Swain is all about the sustained damage, and while he does have a higher mana pool from that Rod of Ages at the moment, it takes time to build up, and he doesn't have any mana regen, at least not as far as items go. So you grab that, you basically reduce Swain's ability to stay in lane, to stay out on the field. and force him to constantly be either back at base or looking for another blue buff.
Yeah, and that other fight that they almost won at Dragon the first time, they would have won if Swain had still had mana. Swain was doing so much damage. He was in every single, he was just in perfect range of every member of the enemy team, and they only lost that because Swain stopped doing damage.
Yep, and that's exactly what it is. JD Wu's impact by stealing an enemy buff is reverberating minutes later into the game and showing exactly how he's able to remotely shut down a champion somewhat. All that really needs to happen now is they've got the gold advantage there, just a little bit ahead in kills. They need to start getting those towers, start securing objectives. And as I'll say, that Swain catches out Rumble in the middle, but V-Man is right nearby. So much damage being poured out from Swain, but he is caught in the middle of nowhere and no one. Down he goes.
Oh, the tick
Livingston
on the
is
Rumble!
so close.
Oh, the Alistair heal! I feel like the tick might have gone through the
Plus
shield.
Heal and Safeguard probably saved him. They take down mid tower.
Oh man, those
wow.
clutch plays. JD Wu and Atomic.
That was very well played there. And I just have to hand it to Livingston. He was ballsy to stay in that long. He didn't need to. He had so much support, but he felt that he just wanted to go for it, and he did.
He went
and
man
it looks
mode.
like Alistar and JD Wu roaming up top. They may spot Jax. No, Jax is backing off. Instead, just planting a ward down and heading back. And they're probably going to think about Baron soon, because they're securing that area very heavily with wards.
What was that? I missed that bit as Leona got caught.
There's the headbutt and the pulverize. V-Man and JD Wu are there. Damage being poured onto her. I don't think she can flash away. No, she doesn't. She pops down her ultimate. Doesn't really do anything but stun JD Wu, but down she goes anyway. And Corki and Jax forced to run away. You can't really engage without your engaged support there.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's one of their problems. They only have Mundo. Mundo can just sort of run at you.
Exactly, and he is a meat shield, but look at who they have. They have Ezreal, they have Brand, they've got Lisa. They have the perfect amount of disengage and strong poke that they need.
Yeah, Mundo wants to run at you. Okay, you can run through Brand's Q, you can run through Lee Sin's Q, you can run through Tasers and Flamethrower from Rumble, you can run through Ezreal's Q and Essence Flux. Just, you know, you can run at us, but you're gonna get hit with, what is that, 7 abilities? Instantly flashing over the wall comes Alistair, trying to lock down Jax, jumps away nicely, but Lee Sin is in the follow. The Counter-Strike is gonna slow him down. They throw out an extra exhaust. Now Leona is coming in. The Rumble ultimate has landed onto Mundo, and now Leona is duking it out under the tower, trying to keep everybody busy while Swain is pushing mid. Swain is not with the team. In comes Corki from the side, but that is a bad place for you to be. Corki, a choke point with 5 enemy players. They are going to bring him down solo, flashing over the wall to finish the job. Double kill onto Ezreal, and Mundo is left on his own. Oh, Swain. Where were you, Swain?
I can't believe this. Swain is throwing. Swain is throwing. I'm heartbroken. But unfortunately, that's where it goes, and
oh, in comes the Counter-Strike. Livingston is so low. The Swain damage is enough. Rumble is just gone. Out comes the Brand ultimate, really not doing that much other than to finish off Jax, who probably would have died otherwise. And the cage onto JD Wu. Now they're laying down their damage. Ezreal ult coming through, landing onto both Swain and Mundo. And Mundo landing counter cleavers. They want this Brand. They got to get anything they can. No, it looks like they're going to back off, push the tower, and lose a red buff for it.
And really, they got Livingston, but what was it worth? It was worth it, what, 1 tower? And they lost so many members, so really, Swain staying mid got them nothing. Swain is not a pusher. You can't just kind of sit there and push. When a team fight happens, you have to hobble your cripple legs all the way over there, but they are going to go for Dragon, try and even up the gold somewhat, but they're 7k behind, so this is going to be minimal at best, and that is if it doesn't get stomped by Ezreal.
I don't think Ezreal's gonna try. I don't even think they
Ezreal
knew.
I didn't think they knew, but you never know. Sometimes there's just that sick little feeling.
It's like, they haven't been anywhere. They're not ballsy enough to take Baron. They gotta be a Dragon ult.
Exactly. And it's plays like that which absolutely just make playing League of Legends all worth it. And it only happens once every several hundred games, but when you see it, you go ballistic.
I had a Leona ult Baron steal the other day. That one right there was just, that was perfect. We lost the game anyway, but it was just like, oh yeah.
I actually can't even imagine that happening, but everyone's had that at one point or another, I am certain. Meanwhile, we do have everyone's basically approaching their mid to late game builds now. We do have the double Triforce on Team UNR, but it's just not paying off for them. Triforce being a very strong item versus the Bloodthirster and Triforce, and the starts of a Last Whisper on Ezreal. So he's basically, in one build, countered 2 major items, and then some. Brand has his Rabadons and his Abyssal Scepter, while Swain is still, it's Deathfire Grasp, strong item, but he's still hobbling around with that Rod of Ages, which adds very little as offensive capabilities because of the nature of the item. It's very survivey.
Oh, looks like they're gonna try and
Swain
find
is going
something.
to force the flash from just proximity there. Swain is scared as Jewel Vagel being caught out there. He does jump out, but gets taken down by the Ignite from JD Wu. Sorry, not the Ignite from JD Wu, the red buff damage. Atomic and just tanking so much damage with his ultimate. He did that when they were up top last time too. He just popped his ultimate and sat under turret, tanking that damage for the rest of his team, and that's incredibly smart play. He has that Oracle, so he's just going to clear up that ward, spotting outside from Mundo. There's no chance of them being grabbed or anything. There they go. Down goes Inhib turret, down goes Inhibitor very soon, and going to get out. Now is the time to do Baron. You have massive map control and superiority now. Your creeps are going to push naturally.
Wow, those double wards feeding the gold of that Alistair.
Like Mundo's just kind of transferring gold over to the enemy team now.
He's like, hey guys, yeah, speed this up a little. Here's some extra gold.
May very well even just drop it to hold them up for a second or two. You never know.
Possible. I mean, at least it gives him vision. At least he knows the direction at which they're leaving. So if they wanted to make some crazy play, they had the ability.
Yep, and Mundo himself does have oracles. He's going around and clearing those wards from Baron so that at the very least they'll be able to reduce the enemy's vision if they choose to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, they have a good chance of getting Baron at this point. They've got a fair bit of damage. They could do it pretty quickly. There's
like
too many things that can go wrong, though.
Blue.
No, if they see Corki, they'll definitely go for it. If Corki gets seen in bot lane, they'll just go for it instantly, because, even if it's just 4v5, that is more than enough of an advantage.
Yep, and it looks like Corki's headed over this way now. Everyone can sense the
they
sick
saw him in the
feeling,
ward.
and the ward did see them too. They have taken that out. Are they going to bait it or actually start it? But there are plenty of wards on the enemy team for them to just fling them over the wall all day, every day.
Well, I wouldn't start it, because if Leona ult goes in there, Jax goes in there, Corki lays down some damage from the side, and Swain locks up everyone for that duration as he instantly locks up JD Wu. Tanking a Baron? No one on that team is particularly tanky other than Lee Sin and Alistair. And as they instantly fly it onto Leona, the exhaust goes down, plus the ultimate from Ezreal and the equalizer from Rumble. Now they've exhausted onto Jax. They are going to get stunned. Swain lays down a little bit of his CC, but it doesn't matter because Alistair's the massive tank. Out comes the ultimate from Brand. Brand is going to fall for this aggression, but they're instantly going to bring down Swain right after it. Now JD Wu flies forward with that Chuck Norris kick and takes down Corki. Now they turn onto Jax. Jax stayed way too long, and Mundo is the lone member of his team still up, and they're kind of pushing for the win now.
Yep, and Livingston just beating the stuffing out of Mundo there. Ezreal, the scumbag, coming and stealing the kill, and I believe that is going to be game in favor of Fortnite. Unfortunately, UNR just not able to get a foothold there. JD Wu nearly dying to the well right at the end. Well played, GG's being called. And even though both teams still go on to the finals, the higher seed, of course,